Okay. Hey guys, how you doing? Everyone have a fun game watching that happen? How are you guys? Everybody in here already? Hey Carter, how you doing, buddy? How many people are in here already? Chat isn't moving yet, so let's see. Another training ground game against a very, very bad opponent. So, hey guys. Someone starts with Matt Turner. That's going to be fun. Anyone else hates that Lewis had a good game? Guys, good confidence win. Yes. Rodon unfortunately added to his too many caps. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. That Turner save. Look. Okay. Hey guys, how you doing? Do you guys have a good were most of you on the hangout with Filippo, tactical manager? I love that after a 7-0 win, we're still unhappy, which is good. That shows the level is going up. 5 years ago, I think a 7-0 win would have been like, fuck yeah, America. So at least Rodon didn't start. Hey, Zach. Hey, guys. How you all doing? Hey, Filippo. That was quite the game. I just laughed most of the game. I couldn't, I couldn't. There's nothing, there's so little we could have taken from that game, guys. No, I'm not going to eat crow on Lewis. Guys, nobody impressed me in that game. Nobody. With that opposition, just you can't really you can take a few tactical things away from it in terms of what they were trying to do. Mostly what I took, from that game was that a lot of our guys still aren't very comfortable on the ball in tight places. A lot of our guys, even some guys who you think had a good game. Okay, well, we'll get into that. All right. Jackson Ewell. You don't like Jackson Ewell, Josue? Opinions on Matt Turner. Okay, let's start with that because that's going to be the most exciting thing to talk about it from this game. A lot of people are going to be like, oh, look, he made a penalty save. What's this guy on Twitter was saying he's the number one keeper and like a pretty big guy who used to work with Herc Gomez, now works for LAFC. I don't remember his name offhand. Look, the penalty was a decent penalty, but like a decent save, but the penalty itself was not even very good. So, it was a good save on Turner. Well done. That doesn't make you the number one keeper all of a sudden. Okay. Still probably a number two. And it's good. You want to have a good number two keeper. What I took from Turner's game today was that he can't really play very well with his feet. You see it. His passing is a little awkward and it's just not his strength, and so that's something I took away from Turner. I thought Miles Robinson was okay with his feet. Nobody looked good. I'm sorry. Even like people say Vines look good. He played some nice balls in, but did you see him under pressure on the side of the field with trying to control the ball? This is MLS. This is mediocre MLS level players are going to look like this for most of the game. It's just very straightforward, stuff. I don't know. Let's start answering some questions here. Would you consider Matt Turner better than Ethan Horvath? I haven't seen enough of Ethan Horvath lately to make a call on that. Man of the match was Lewis. Maybe. He definitely scored a very Lewis-esque goal. His first goal, 12-year-old boy could have finished, but his second goal was nice. But guys, these spaces, what happened? We got most of our goals from them doing exactly what Salvador did last time. Play a high line and just play. And so we played the ball in behind them and then completely destroyed them that way. And in the second half, the 60th minute, once DK and Mueller and all these guys came on, Trinidad and Tobago dropped back into a low block and it was harder to get around them. The first half, they were just coming up at us, leaving all this space in behind. So we just went in behind. Not that difficult. Let's see. All right, guys. There's in time to a lot of questions here. Hope you guys had a fun game. It's fun to watch a nice training guy, exercise like that. We can't take a lot from it. For me, nobody really raised their stock. Maybe Matt Turner a little bit, Miles Robinson a little bit, but Trinidad and Tobago was so bad. I would have wanted us to do more. And I don't mean necessarily more goals, but I would have wanted us to be more comfortable with the ball at our feet in possession, getting out of tight spaces, using skill. Stuff that I really didn't see a whole lot about. So let's see. Joshua Simmons, Kellen Acosta was bad, in my opinion. Yes, they were. Yes, he was. He was not good. I wasn't even impressed by Acosta in a game like this. Sam Vines was good, though, by Michael Howard. Sam Vines was good with his crossing. But when it came to like technique and keeping the ball in tight spaces, I didn't see a whole lot. Barbara Spridgen, I'm not saying Lewis didn't have skill in this game. Lewis had skill at, playing 1v1 against very poor defenders. Okay. But I can't be honest and say Acosta raised his stock, because I don't think he did against this opposition. Let's see Acosta do it against a decent opponent. And I know Colorado fans are going to be mad at me for saying that, but I say what I think, and then you can agree with me or disagree. That's fine. Think this is similar to the Gold Cup squad? Probably. Yeah, DK in tight spaces was not good, Filippo. He didn't show a whole lot, to be honest. Matt Turner should play some futsal to work on his footwork. The problem, Josue, is that when you're older, when you're in your mid-20s already, your technique is not going to improve dramatically. Little bit. Altidore was good tonight. What game you were watching? How do you feel like the Olympic eligible players did? Jesus, guys, there's so many questions here. I can't even read them before they disappear. Michael Howard, what do you think Berhalter took away from this game? Honestly, not much. I don't think he was that great. Dakotas to Eva Dalt. Hey, thought Tanner Tessman showed good vision and found space well. Yeah, I thought Tanner Tessman looked all right. I would have wanted to see him start. Jozy Altidore was the man of the match. Guys, I don't know if Jozy Altidore would have been much better against this team. What do you think of rumors of Aaron Long going to Liverpool on loan? Carlos Martin, I love you too, man. Thanks for being here. Aaron Long going on loan to Liverpool? Not going to happen, I don't think. I think Turner has cemented himself as a real solid number 2. Luke Wilson, yes. Okay, first good take of the night. No, you guys have had some good ones. Yeah, Matt Turner should probably be our number 2. Paul Arriola looks good. He looked fine. Like, against this opposition, I expect all of these guys to look really, really good. Some of them looked good. Some of them looked fine. Some of them looked really good. But it's still that opposition. Half of us in this chat could probably have looked good against that opposition. All right. 190 people watching the chat. Woohoo! All right. This is fun. Geez, man, you got more viewers than the Best Shocker Show live stream. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, guys, slow down in the comments. I got it. If I start reading one, there's so many coming through that I start reading one and then it disappears. If you had to give this team a number, like first team, second team, third team, what team are you thinking? I'd say third team, Carter. Third team. Whose stock did not drop? Okay, that's a good question. Matthew Reynolds. Whose stock did not drop? I'd say Matt Turner, Aaron Long, Miles Robinson, Sam Vines, Jonathan Lewis, Sebastian Leggett. Yeah, guys like that. Paul Arriola. Some of these guys really did not look that good, though. Like Acosta, I was shocked how poor he looked. Even Jackson Ewell was not that impressive. How do you think Trent Boring, here we go. How do you think our defense would have fared if we faced Jovan Jones, Kevin Molino, and the young winger Garcia for AEK Athens? So those are their 3 best players who were missing tonight. Okay? Yeah, I think our defense would have actually had a test. More of a test, at least. And we could have seen what was going on. I'm going to try putting this chat on slow mode because I can't even read the comments, guys. There's so many. And I appreciate you all being here. I don't want to sound like I'm, not grateful that you're all here hanging out with me. This is really awesome. I just got to be able to get this thing onto slow-mo. I don't know how to do that. Let me see. Does anyone know how to do that? How to get it onto slow mode? Do I have to exit the chat and do it again? Or do I if somebody knows how to do that, let me know and I'll put it on slow mode, okay? TNT's fitness was terrible, to be honest. Number 4 and number 15 were overweight. Joel Curtis, yes, they were. A lot of these guys had pot bellies. I was really surprised to see that. Some of them haven't played for a full year. So we have to be honest with ourselves about, what that means, okay? Hello, Pete. You there? Yes, I am, Ben. Thoughts on dual 8s in the second half? He did this weird thing where he took off Arriola for Perea and then had Perea and Jackson Ewell on the field together. I'm just like, I don't know. How you feeling about Greg right now? I mean, I hope Greg is successful. Austin Westbrook. Thanks, man. That's very nice of you, Austin. All right. This is from Austin Westbrook. All right. Who is in your first choice starting 11 right now in a competitive game if you could pick? Okay. So because Musa hasn't committed to us yet, I'm not going to include Musa in this answer. Okay. Zach Steffen in goal. Back four of Dest, Richards, Brooks, and Robinson. Midfield trio of Adams, McKennie, and Reyna. Pulisic on the left, Weah on the right, and Sargent up top. Yes, we definitely need to play better opposition, Ben. Absolutely. March, hopefully, guys. In March, we'll have the European guys there. Hopefully, we'll get European or South American competition. Anything but this, I'd even rather play Mexico than this. Like, we need to get some better competition because that was just really sad. All right. Let's see. Omar Pradhan. Pete, hypothetical. Take tonight's lineup, put them on the field against TNT on the night of October 10th. Do we advance to the 2018 World Cup? I don't think so. I genuinely don't think so. I think that a friendly, the way this team approaches a friendly that a lot of them haven't played for so long, and the way they approach that game, they were really determined away. I think it would have been, I don't think it would have been any different. Owen Couch. Do you think Jordan Morris will be successful over at Swansea City? I think he will do okay, but I don't think he will exceed expectations. I don't think he will be terrible either. J-Mac, excellent starting 11. Who do you have on the bench? Ooh. I have seven. If you have 7 guys in the bench for competitive game, I'd have Turner in goal. Defense, I would bring probably, that's hard to say. Reggie Cannon and Mark McKenzie. Reggie Cannon and Mark McKenzie, because Mark McKenzie can play with both feet. So he can play either of those center back roles. In midfield, I would bring Owen Otasawi and Sebastian Lletget. And then up top, I would bring probably, that's tough. Has to be somebody who's versatile. Uli Yanez and Jordan Morris. Okay, what else we got? How long is it till Tessman goes to Europe? From Julian Pinto. Julian Pinto is a huge fan of not only the channel, but the Patreon. Thank you so much, Julian. Tessman goes to Europe. My guess, if he has a really good season with Dallas this year, we see him in Europe next January, sort of like Reynolds has done. That would be my guess. Why the hell couldn't we have played Canada at least? That's what I was wondering, Ben. I thought we were going to play Canada too, but we didn't see him. So Carter Hazlitt is not a fan of Yanez. I really am. I think he's underrated. Bryce Travis. What is Brian Reynolds' ceiling? Hard to know. Hard to say at this stage of his career. If Roma is interested in him, he could have a very high ceiling. I think he has to do some work defensively, though. But, good for him for going to Italy at a young age. Let's see. TNT is bad, but seems like USMNT is deep as it's been in quite some time. What do you think? From Clayton Adams. Yes, absolutely. I agree. We've never been this deep, and not just deep, but deep in quality. Okay, so we have a lot of quality. Carter Hazlitt. Pete, we agree on almost every USMNT take there is except for Yanez. That's okay, man. We're allowed to disagree on stuff. That's what having a good soccer culture looks like. Any guess when Musa's decision might come? From Mr. Tweedy. That's quite the name, sir. My guess is right before March. If he gets called in for March, it's probably because he's decided to switch. And if I had to put my money on it, guys, I'm guessing he does switch. Just everything about his body language, his social media, the fact that he got called in and started both games. I just think, and the way the team has rallied around him and they actually seem to be friends and pals, I think he switches. I would be surprised if he goes to play for somebody else. All right. Matthew Hoppy is the American savior. Let's wait and see, Austin. He might be. He might be a good poacher for us, but we have to give him more time. But seems to have some quality, especially his ability to drift and explode. So when you watch Matthew Hoppy play, and guys, do this whenever you watch any poacher play. Okay, so a poacher is a guy like Soto, Giovacchini, Sardes, Hoppy. All of these guys, what they're good at, they're not target men, right? They're not going to come hold up the ball like Sargent. They're going to drift into space and try to pull a defender out with them and then quickly explode. So it's why I used to tell my players when I was coaching them, drift into space and then explode into the space that you've created. TM. Hey, buddy. Thanks so much, man. 2 players moved. 2 move up. 2 move down the depth chart tonight. Ooh, that's a good question. Okay. 2 that have moved up. I want to say Matt Turner moved up the depth chart to number 2. You know, who else moved up the depth chart? I don't think. Ooh, that's really tough to say. Okay, give me a second here. I think Matt Turner moved up the depth chart, and I think Tanner Tessman moved up the depth chart. The guys that moved down, I think Kellen Acosta and Christian Roldan. I just think that Roldan, hey, I'm glad he didn't start. I worried he was going to. And when he came on, it's just exactly like the same Roldan we saw before. Fine at the basics. The minute he's under any kind of pressure, gives the ball away. I will take Miles Robinson over Walker Zimmerman. Joshua Simmons, I agree. John Johnson. Jay Lewis. Okay, I don't want to, Colorado people, don't get me wrong. Jonathan Lewis was good at doing Jonathan Lewis things, right? Making those little runs in behind, scoring goals. Now, they weren't, one goal was great. One of them was kind of an easy tap in, but that's okay. Scoring goals is good. At this level, fantastic. The problem with Lewis is when you up the level, I don't think he can cope at a higher level. Like his 1v1 skill against a decent defender, I don't think it translates. Even in MLS, it doesn't really translate that much. So if that's just MLS, you talk about any higher, I don't think it translates, guys. That's just my personal opinion. And it's okay to disagree with me. I know he's your guy in Colorado, but he's just, it's a low level of play for him. In tight spaces, he struggles. I'm not hating on Zimmerman, Jimmy Bird. Lewis is also very streaky. I'd rather have Tyler Boyd. I think Tyler Boyd is not that much better than Zimmerman, to be honest. Very, very similar type of player. Does anyone that played tonight go to the World Cup? Good question, Clayton. I think Turner goes to the World Cup. My guess is Long might go to the World Cup. Robinson, depending on how he improves, Miles Robinson. Possibly Sam Vines, depending on how Greg Berhalter wants to, play it. If he goes like a backup to Anthony Robinson, maybe. Let me think. I don't know. I don't think anybody else, honestly. Maybe Leggett, but I think because by that time, I think we're going to have better 10s than Leggett. So maybe Leggett. Hard to say. Depends on the development of other players. Hey, Kevin, no worries, man. Ross Smith, how are you doing, buddy? Good to see you here. Isaiah Paskins, Jimmy Bird, it's called an opinion. He's allowed to have one. It's all right, man. It's okay. We can all agree respectfully. It's not a problem. Yeah, guys, smash that like button if you can. We'll get other people to join us. We have about 250 already. So Zard has left the chat. Ariola will be on the World Cup roster. I don't know, Zach. I think he might be overtaken by better wingers at that point. Number 10 is a spot we don't have a lot of depth in. Who do you think is going to move up and fill it? Good question. Matthew Reynolds. Ooh, let's see. Richie Ledesma got injured, so that's disappointing. Brendan Aronson could make a case. Just have to see how he does in the Europa League for Salzburg. Paxton Aronson, keep an eye on him this year for Philly. Paxton Pomacall, if he comes back healthy, but he's more of an 8. Yeah, those would be our guys, pretty much. Our Europe guys are way ahead of this Greg put out there tonight. Correct. Yes. Redefine you. Slow mode. Click settings. Click live chat. Toggle on slow mode. Where do I find settings, though? That's the question. How do you feel about the Orlando trio? Mueller, DK, Pereira. So I was not that impressed when Pereira came on. He didn't look as comfortable in midfield as I expected him to. Mueller and DK, it's hard to say because they came on when Trinidad and Tobago had dropped back into a low defensive block. So they had way less space than Lewis and Ferreira and Ariola had in the first half, right? And up to the 60th minute. So when they came on, they had way less space. It's a little hard to judge them. If Mueller and DK has had as much space as Ferreira and Lewis had in the first half, would have been a little bit different. Tactics information. John White, it was pretty much the same thing we saw, a standard 4-3-3, same thing we saw against El Salvador, Same thing we saw against Wales. Basically everything Berhalter's been doing for the last year and a half or so. So that's basically what we saw. A nice 4-3-3. Trinidad played a very high line in the first half, just like El Salvador did, trying to squeeze our possession play. So we did the smart thing and we just played in behind them. And it wasn't really a whole lot more complicated than that. There is something that I noticed them do, and I've seen them do it now 3 games in a row, when we're building out of the back in order to get a numerical superiority. So it's not as risky building out of the back. And I'll talk about that on tomorrow's video a little bit, okay? Because let's be honest, guys. We look at a game and we're all watching it and we're going, what can we even really take from this game, right? Here's what you take from a game where it's training scrimmage. Patterns of play. Because no matter the opposition, patterns of play are going to help you to figure out what you want to, how you want to play against an opponent, okay? So you watch for patterns of play. What I also watch for is comfortability on the ball, particularly in tight spaces. Good quality players that can go up a level, whose form will translate when we play bigger teams. Those are the guys, when you watch them, they receive the ball with their first touch in tight places. That first touch goes into space, okay? Space that they can occupy, and they're able to use individual skill and technique to get out of a sticky situation. I saw almost nobody do that tonight, all right? And that doesn't mean they're terrible players or that they shouldn't have professional careers. It just means, for me, I don't think that guy is, like John Lewis is not going to translate to Mexico. He's not. And that's okay. He'll still have a fantastic career with Colorado. He'll probably go to Olympic qualifying. And against most small teams in CONCACAF, he might even be effective. But he's not in the top 10 winger chart for me for the USMNT. All right, what else do we have? Thoughts on Jordan Morris to Swansea City? Already covered that. I think he'll do fine there. Under 23 team, good enough for Olympics now. This team is going to need some European guys if they want to do well at the Olympics. Guys like Richards, Yanez, De La Fuente, anybody they can get really from the European roster, because the domestic guys are not very good. Ferreira looked really good tonight. You know, people are going to hate me for saying this. I didn't think he was, okay. When he had space, he made good decisions. I'll give him that. His decision-making in space was good, and he played the role that was asked of him well. He also gave the ball away in midfield quite a few times, especially in the first half. I don't know if you guys saw, but in midfield, when he was supposed to be keeping possession, he gave the ball away. He missed a glaring chance that he should have finished in the first half. So he made some good decisions in moments. His technique and lack of experience has let him down quite a few times today. And his ability to time his runs. So many times he was offside because he couldn't time his runs. So he still has stuff to work on. I wouldn't mind him getting another call up in the future to see how he does against a better opponent, but I'm not sure that this translates to something better, especially when we have a lot of good forward options. Would you be mad if our opponents in CONCACAF were way better than what they are now? No, I want CONCACAF to get better. I want all the teams to get better so we can have a good federation and we don't have to have games like this all the time. You know, I want us to be facing good quality opposition all the time. The States FC. Thank you, sir. He says, keep up the good work. Can't wait till March to see Pulisic back and playing with everybody else. I know, right? I literally cannot wait till we're doing this with the full team playing a really good team, you know, and watching them ball out. That's what I want to come to do. You know what I mean? I want to watch those games, and then we can chat about those, and we can actually break stuff down, and we can analyze. So-and-so did good because of this. These tactics worked in these moments, but in these other moments, it didn't work that well. Dominican Stud 101. Hello, sir. Which teams do you think can hand the USA losses in World Cup qualifying? These past friendlies have been abysmal. Okay, but the past friendlies were not the first teams. Keep that in mind, okay? This Trinidad and Tobago team didn't have their 4 or 5 best players. So they're very different, prospect with guys like Kevin Molino, Jovan Jones, Perez, who plays in Olympiacos in Greece. But Mexico obviously can hand us a defeat and probably will at some point. Honestly, Jamaica, Canada, anybody who is like a decent level can beat us on the day. If we don't show up with the right tactics and we don't show up with the right mentality and attitude, they can beat us, especially away. Okay, remember, away in CONCACAF is not easy, even for talented, skillful players. You can't pass the ball slickly on a CONCACAF pitch. You're not going to sleep the night before the game because they're going to stand outside your hotel and they're going to play drums and go fireworks. That's CONCACAF for you. They're going to foul you every step of the way. Referees are terrible. They'll foul you, inside your box right in front of the referee and nothing will happen. So CONCACAF is wild. There are 3 or 4 teams that can beat us if we don't show up really sharp and really mentally good to go. Okay. N345. How much do you want for the channel? Are you offering to buy the channel from me, buddy? Or are you asking how many subscribers I want? What else? Alex Musa. I'd rather have Sam Vines at left back than Dest at left back. Ooh, hot take Musa. Okay. Honestly, I kind of agree. I know. I kind of agree. I want to see Sam Vines against better opposition. We've only ever seen Sam Vines against Costa Rica, El Salvador, and Trinidad and Tobago. I want to see Sam Vines is defending against another team. So I'm gonna hold off before I agree with you there. Do you believe that Julian Green make a USMNT comeback and is Alex Mendez hype for real and break out for Ajax? Andy Garcia, I think Julian Green deserves a call-up based on his form. Absolutely. I think we should bring him in March and at least have a look and see if he can fit into this system. He could also be a 10, right? We were talking earlier about the lack of 10s. Julian Green is balling it out. And yeah, it's the 2 Bundesliga, but that's still a pretty decent level. I think he at least deserves a call-up. Clampack FC, do you think we'll see Kobe Hernandez in March? I don't think so. Still playing for the U19s in Germany. I don't think you're going to call him up. Ben Wheeler. Well, it disappeared. Where'd it go? You had a good question, Ben Wheeler. What happened? Put it back in there in the chat. Sorry, dude. All right. Jamaica, Curacao, and Haiti. Top 3 in Caribbean. I haven't seen enough of Caribbean soccer to give you a good answer on that one, Trent. Ajay Juggernaut. Hope should get to practice with the team and maybe in the Olympics. Hoppy. Yeah, I agree. Hoppy will probably be either with the first team or with the Olympic team in March. Matthew Reynolds. Green has played Firth in the promotion zone, so he could be Bundesliga next year. Yes, he could, Matt. Marcos Martinez. How are you? Do you think we can see Kaden Clark in March? I would hope. I doubt it, Marcos. He hasn't gotten called up in December or January, so I doubt he's getting called up in March when we have all the European guys available. This is CONCACAF. How did Trinidad give us a favor? We didn't get crap from this game besides a decent training session. Agreed. But, they agreed to play us. We wanted to play Serbia, and then Serbia pulled out, and it wasn't easy with COVID to get a good opponent. I think Trinidad and Tobago was probably the best we could have done, and it sucks. But, nothing you can do about it. You have to try and practice the tactical things. I'm going to talk a little bit tomorrow in the game about the overloading, overloads in possession of the ball when we were playing out of the back, because I noticed something interesting there. Carlos Martin, Greg's going to call Freddie a do-up at this point. Jason Caceres, which players do you think USMNT won't lock in? You mean like dual nationals? I don't know, man. I think a lot of them are leaning our way, to be honest. Not Ifra Alvarez, but he was already leaning towards Mexico. I think most of them are leaning our way, if I'm being quite honest. Matthew Reynolds. Yes, you're right, Matthew. Haiti has some good talent coming up. Barbara Spridgen. Richie Ledesma. Thoughts going forward? He's injured. I hope he can come back stronger from that injury. And also, while he's at it, get a little muscle on his frame so he doesn't get bodied off the ball so easily. But talented player. Really good kid. I want to see more of him. Do you think we can top the World Cup qualifying group by Swift Cross? Absolutely, man. There is no reason why we can't. We absolutely can, especially with the players in Europe. Okay, we have to get our tactics right against Mexico, and we have to show up every game motivated, hungry, and willing to play as a team. Okay, if we do those things, there's no reason why we can't top this group. Smash that like button, guys. That's what Jan Stepp says, and I agree. Smash it. Oh, we're at 110 already. Cool. John Johnston, are there any other dual nationals to watch that we may not be aware of? Well, I don't know who you guys are aware of. There's Florian Balogun over in Arsenal, who I don't rate him as highly as some people do. I want to see more of him at professional level before we start just calling him up. And then there's a gentleman who plays for Union Berlin. His name is Malek Sanogo. I don't know if you've heard of him. He's a forward as well. He's been called to the U.S. He's been called up to Germany's camps as well, like youth camps. So those two guys are guys to watch for sure. How many friendlies will we play before Gold Cup starts? Well, Gold Cup is in July. We're going to have Nations League in June. So, and Berhalter said probably one friendly in June before Nations League. Gold Cup's going to be a different roster, though. It's going to be like our C team. So my guess is one or two friendlies before the Gold Cup. If Jimenez can't play by World Cup qualifying, then I defo think that the U.S. can top the group. Ray Puma, I kind of agree with you. They don't, the drop from Jimenez to Macias, who's their second choice striker, is a big drop. And that is going to affect them. And they're an aging team. Honduras. Barbara Spridgen, you are the best. Thank you for all your hard work, even though it's super fun work. Thank you, Barbara. That's very kind of you, even though I don't agree with you about Jonathan Lewis. You're very nice. And it's nice to have some girls on here. Guys, let's shout out to Barbara. This is a big sausage fest, a bunch of us dudes. It's nice to see some girls getting into soccer in the U.S. That's really awesome. Clampack FC, keep up the good work. Do you think we'll see KHF anytime soon? Think he's ahead of Vines today. Clampack FC, I want to see more of Kobe Hernandez Foster. I think his ceiling is higher than Vines, but I don't think his ceiling today is that high. I don't think where he is today is higher than Vines. So Vines has been called up now, has played 3 times for the U.S. Kobe Hernandez Foster has never been called up, and he's still playing for the Bundesliga under-19 team. From what I've heard, they're trying to move him to become a 6. I hope not, because I want him as the left back for the future. I think he's got the highest ceiling of all of our left back options. Just my personal opinion. Will he reach that ceiling? That's up to him. That's up to injuries, development, coaching, environment. There's so many things that go into a player's development, so we don't know for sure, but I hope so. And thank you, Clampack FC. That's very nice of you. Thanks, guys. All of you guys who are sending me donations in the chat, I really, really do appreciate it. Your support means a lot to me, and just the fact that you're here means a lot to me, I love talking about soccer, and the fact that you guys want to listen to me spout my garbage is great. Let's see. Do you rate Johnny Cardoso from Jason Caceres? He might be the first American to win a Brazilian league. I rate him very highly, although I haven't seen him play that much. I've seen 2 or 3 games in Brazil and the 2 times he played for the U.S. You know who's an expert on Johnny Cardoso? Filippo Silva. He's Brazilian. He knows Johnny Cardoso very well. He can give you the skinny on him better than I can. There you go. Tactical Manager TV. By the way, guys, if you have not subscribed yet to Tactical Manager TV, go do so. Him and I are going to start doing some collabs because I find him to be a very thoughtful, intelligent. He's a soccer coach like me. Okay, he coaches players. He's a student of the game. So when he says something, he's not just talking out of his ass. It's something he actually knows. He does not only U.S. content, but he also does European and South American content. So he's a very a good diverse channel with a lot of different options there. Go give him a follow. Evan Gaines, where do you think Taitegui should go? Probably MLS. Come back to MLS and rebuild his career. I commented that like 7 minutes ago. IN345, are you offering to buy my channel? I still haven't gotten a monetary offer from you. I'm only selling for 6 figures. Well, no, 7 figures right now. Minnesota accent. No, I'm not from Minnesota, but I've heard that before, Anthony. I'm a weird mutt accent. I coached in England and India. I was born and raised in Thailand. I had American parents. Dad and mom were working out there. I've worked in the Middle East. I've lived in Chicago. And then I've come out to LA. So it's this weird like mutt accent of a lot of, different things. Swift Cross. Have you ever considered applying for a USMNT coaching position? There's no way. I would not be a good USMNT coach. Okay, it's one thing to have these ideas in your head and to, tactically, but to be able to convey those ideas to a bunch of, millionaire players on the field is very different. And so I don't think I would be a good USMNT coach. Maybe a kit man, and unless you're coaching at professional level, you have your A license, your pro license, your UEFA pro, you're not going to go anywhere. I have a C license. Okay, that's my level. And I have a degree from England in coaching soccer. All right, if you had the power to make a previous kit, the national kit from now on, which one would you choose? Dominican Stud 101. That is a good question. There's so many good ones, man. Honestly, that's so tough. I think the hoops. I just love the hoops, man. The white and red hoops that we had in the World Cup in, I think it was 2010. Dude, those hoops were something really special. I really liked those. I think those would be the ones. Thanks again, Dominican Stud. Do you have a name? if you don't mind, if you're okay, put your name in the chat so I can call you by your actual name. Although Dominican Stud is a great name. New mic, so much better. I've had this mic for a long time, man. Tactical manager, Filippo, moved around a lot, Pete. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I love traveling and I love moving around and gaining different experiences in the world. I've coached in a lot of places. Coaching Indian kids was one of the most fulfilling experiences in my life. I worked for Arsenal Soccer Schools, and they sent me to India to open academies for them and to develop young Indian talent. And that's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Okay, here's a good question from Max829. This is something you guys probably don't know about me. What is your day job outside of YouTube? You guys ready for this? I'm an actor. Yes, that's correct. Let's see. World Cup champs, don't at me. Robbie P, that would be amazing. I think 2022 might be a little too early, but 2026 is a good option. I mean, we have a chance in 2026 if we keep developing players. Dakotas to Evadalt, what do you mean the hoops? You know, though, we had a white jersey with red stripes on it. It was like literally just white and red, like stripes, like across, like this. That was, I think it was World Cup 2010. Somebody look that up and tell me if I got that wrong. All right. And don't sleep on the ninth. I also really like the 1994 kit, Isaiah. I really did. Yes, Barbara Spridgen, the Where's Waldo kit. That one. There you go. Then the jean kit in 98, was it the one that Lalas was wearing with it was like a denim with stars on it? That one was really good too. Thoughts on Long to Liverpool? I don't think that's going to happen, buddy. The Waldos were from 2012. My bad. Swift Cross, where's your IMDb? I'm not going to give you guys my IMDb because then you're going to go look up. Look, I'm an amateur actor. I'm doing it like for fun. I do small roles here and there. I was on a TV show as a detective. Small roles. I'm not like a big actor or anybody that you know. But I do use a different name for my acting career than Pete Douthit. Okay. Denim was 94 from Joel Curtis. Yes, I really like that. The denim and the Waldos, I think, were my two favorite kits. What movies, TV shows have you been in? We got to see the performances. No, Max, I'm not going to tell you that because then you guys are going to go searching. And a lot of them are like indie films, right? They're very small level films. So don't go looking for me. Areola going to Swansea might help him. We got to know the shows you are on now. Okay, I'll tell you one show. Homicide Hunter. If you go to season 9, I'm in a couple of episodes of Homicide Hunter as a detective. Okay. And that's all I'm going to tell you. And then the rest is up to you guys. But guys, my main thing here is soccer, not acting. So hot Karl Malone adult films. You guys want to hear a funny story? I was at a, like an AO, an American Outlaws, watch party. I'm not going to tell you where because you know, I don't want to like out this guy, but there was this guy sitting next to me who was at the watch party. And I was like, dude, you look so familiar. Where have I seen you before? Are you an actor? And everybody in the room like burst out laughing. I was like, oh my God, what? And then some guy told me later that he was a porn star and that's how I had seen him before. All right. Who's the biggest actor in all of soccer? Ooh, hard to say. I mean, has anyone seen Ted Lasso? I haven't seen it. I have not seen that. Probably, what's his name? Will Ferrell is probably a good, actor. He's a funny actor and he's into soccer too. So that's like a connection there. Neymar. Yes. Being that you're a coach and an actor, which soccer player gives the most compelling performance when diving? Ooh, Neymar for sure. Neymar and Ronaldo are the best. And most El Tri players. Remember, what was his name? Did you guys see the CONCACAF Champions League final with Ochoa? And like literally got hit by a ray of sunlight and then like collapsed on the field. How do I feel about Richards going on loan? Daniel Hay, good question. I really, really like it. He's going to get some experience now playing for Hoffenheim. The coach of Hoffenheim used to be Bayern 2's coach. Okay. So he really believes in Richards and they have 3 defenders injured right now, Hoffenheim. So Richards is not necessarily going to start right away, but he's going to be heavily involved and he's going to get experience. Okay. And this is why I believe Richards is going to start for us in qualifying. He's going to get 5-6 months of experience now playing for Hoffenheim. And then when he goes back to Bayern next season, Alaba is going to be gone, and Boateng has already been benched this season. So I think there's a really good chance to start for Bayern next year, or at least get a lot of consistent minutes. And anybody who's getting consistent minutes for the best team in the world starts for the USMNT, hands down. All right, everyone here about to watch Homicide Hunter. See, this is why I didn't want to tell you guys that I was an actor, because then you're going to all go and like look for me, and I want to keep this about soccer. David Luiz that one time dived and smiled. Yes, David Luiz was a very good diver as well. Oh, shit, someone found me. All right, you found me, guys. Tried for a while, Peter Masney. Yes, Peter Masney is my actor's name. And I just, like I said, I just do small stuff here and there. I usually play a detective on a TV show every now and then, one episode here and there. So what's your favorite MLS stadium? I haven't been to all of them, Jason. I've been to, I've been to Toyota Stadium in Frisco, FC Dallas. I've been to the old Chicago Fire Stadium when I was there. I've been to LAFC. I've been to LA Galaxy. I think that's it. Just those 4. I need to go to more stadiums. I want to go to Portland. Okay. Portland, I want to go to. I want to see that stadium. Austin looks like they have a really nice stadium coming through. That best is Atlanta United. Yeah. Atlanta United, though, it's not just soccer. You know what I mean? It's a beautiful stadium, but it's like an artificial pitch. So it's hard for me to get on board with an artificial pitch. Cincinnati Stadium. Yes. Samuel Lee. Correct. I really like Cincinnati Stadium. Pete, can you critique this lineup from Omar Pradhan? Sure, if you pop it up there. Joshua Simmons, it doesn't matter where you play. That's a dumb take. I'll take an average Premier League player over a good MLS player. Oh, because Alexi Lalas said it doesn't matter where you play. In a way, though, he's right. Okay, now Alexi Lalas takes it too far. All right. Now, Tim Ream plays in the Premier League. That doesn't mean he should start for us. Like, you know, I would take Aaron Long over Tim Ream, even though Aaron Long plays in MLS. So in a way, that's true. It doesn't matter where you play. But how you play matters more, okay? So both for your club and the national team, how you play matters. Columbus, new stadium next year. Douglas Frederick, as a detective, who is a player you've discovered that you're excited about, but few people are talking about? Oh, man. I don't know. I'm excited about Ulianes. I really am. I think the kid has a lot to offer, but I think he's underrated because he's not getting a lot of playing time in Europe right now. But I think he's going to continue to grow and be a really good player. Oh, I got to plug in the laptop here. All right. Mapled, bro, it's one of the most expensive stadiums in the world. LOL. What is that the Minnesota Stadium? Maple D? Colin Donahue, Tessman. Ethan Finlay, Tyre Miller, or Ike Opara have any future for the U.S. from Spencer Doherty. Doherty. Is that Irish? Doherty? I was in Ireland. That's how they pronounce it. Hey, my name's Seamus O'Doherty. I don't think so. I don't think any of those guys are top elite talent. Matthew Peterson. Is Lalas the only person to refer to Roberto Firmino as Bobby or Robert? It seems he's trying to be clever when it just isn't. Just call him Roberto like everyone else. I mean, I don't really have a problem with it. Joshua Simmons. Trinidad and Tobago wearing their prison suits. Spencer Nunn. Is Cameron Carter-Vickers not good enough for any call-ups? Here's my take on Cameron Carter-Vickers. He can't play with his feet, and he's not very mobile. He's like Walker Zimmerman. He's just a big, tall defender, and he's, you know, he'll come and smash you, but there's no finesse to his game. Travis Hensley, I've asked 3 questions and not one has been answered. I'm sorry, dude. There's so many questions coming through here. I can't get to everybody, man. I'm sorry. But put another question in the comments box and I'll try to answer it. Ross Smith, Pete, if you decide to check out Orlando Stadium, let me know. I'll catch you there. Absolutely, Ross. I would love to come. Now, especially that I'm friends with Filippo, there's a good chance I will come to Orlando one day to do some stuff with him, and then maybe we'll go to a game and, you know, let's meet you there, grab drinks or something. That'd be awesome, dude. What else? Now we know why Pete is good at accents, because he's an actor. You don't even want to know. You don't even want to know. Okay, Travis Hensley, do you believe style matters more than skill in a national team setting? Ooh, good question. You mean style of play of the team? That's a very good question, man. And I part of me thinks that skill matters more. Well, no, actually, no, I'm going to go style. Here's why. Style of play, you can take the players and have them play that way, and their skill can compensate for the deficiencies in that style. But I will say there's levels to this, okay? If you have a great style of play, but the team that we just saw tonight is going to go to World Cup qualifying. So I don't know. That's a really tough question because skill, there's levels. If the skill level is different, then no, skill matters way more. But the best thing obviously that you want is skill and style together. And you want a style of play that suits the skill of your players. That's something I still think Berhalter needs to work on, is developing a style of play that suits the skill set of his players. Like, I don't think Reyna should play on the right wing, for example. But I think he's getting better at it, better than he was in 2019. All right. What else do we got? Vines or Bello? I haven't seen enough of Bello. I saw him at Atlanta. I want to see him play for the national team. Alex Musa, when is the next U.S. game? I think in March. We have 2 friendlies in March. Spencer Nunn. You're welcome, Travis. Pete, if you ever are catching a Fire game at Soldier Field, would love to come grab some drinks with you. Spencer Nunn. Yeah, I used to live in Chicago. In fact, I'm going to Chicago a week from now. I'm going to be there from the 6th to the 10th. I just have some work I need to do there. But I go back to Chicago regularly. So, yeah, we should absolutely grab a drink at a game or something. That'd be cool. Joel Curtis, I hope Reyna at right wing was just to accommodate Musa to make him happy. I kind of think it was, Joel. I think he was just, trying to show some love to Musa and letting him start. Which U.S. players from MLS do you hope for to go to Europe? Well, a lot of them are going. A lot of them are going. I don't think Long will end up going. I think he's kind of past it in that sense as far as like his going time. Let's see. Kaden Clark is going to Leipzig. I know that. It's been rumored, but I can officially tell you on this podcast, on this live stream, that has been confirmed to me by my sources. Paxton Aronson, Paxton Pomykal. Trying to think who else. Maybe Mueller down the line. If he has another good season and he's balling out again, maybe Mueller. Marcos Martinez. Pete, do you think that MLS Stadium capacity is too low, especially when the 2026 World Cup will be a big catalyst for the league? Hard to say. I think some of them might be a little too low. Like Portland just had to add seats to their stadium because they had so much demand. But some of these stadiums can't even fill their, you go to Houston or Chicago or Columbus even, and they can't fill their stadium. So Dakotas to Eva Adult. Pete, would love to grab a drink with you in Chicago as well. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Why won't Red Bull New York just let Long leave? From Max. I don't know, Max. That's a good question. I don't know if they got the right valuation for him. I think they value him very highly, but they should have gone with at the right time when they had a good offer for him a year ago from West Ham. I think it was 7-8 million, and they tried to hold out for 15. I think that was stupid. USMNT opinions. Oh, thanks, man. That's a really generous donation of you. Appreciate it. I'm confused about the Chris Richards loan to Hoffenheim. Bayern are getting rid of Boateng and Alaba this summer, so I thought they were making room for him. Do you think Richards should stay at Bayern? Okay, so the loan is now until the end of this season, okay? So it actually makes perfect sense because Alaba and Boateng will still be there until the end of this season, and then Richards isn't getting game time. So he goes to Hoffenheim now, gets more quality Bundesliga minutes with Hoffenheim, maybe works on one of his weaknesses is he still gets bullied a little bit on the ball. Okay, that's something he needs to work on. But sometimes you need experience. You need to play to work on that. Okay, and also his line-breaking passes. He's good in possession of the ball, but when it comes to making line-breaking passes, I haven't seen enough of that from him yet. So if he spends 6 months at Hoffenheim, then when he comes back in the summer, Alaba and Boateng leave, and he's ready to slot in. Maybe not as a first starter. They might be getting Upamecano, from what I've heard. But at least the first guy, like maybe the third choice center back, and playing regular minutes because their schedule is so packed. Does that make sense, USMNT opinions? If it doesn't, let me know and I'll try to explain it again. Okay. Captai Santiago Munoz, Eduardo Maldonado. Yes, agree. If we can get Munoz, that would be great. Oh, can you guys imagine the L3 fans if Santiago Munoz, like their brightest U17, commits to the U.S.? And this isn't a guy who was born and raised in the U.S. He was born in the U.S., but he was raised in Mexico. So if he ever committed to us, even if Efra had committed to us, they would lose their shit. Man, I would love watching L3 fans lose their shit sometimes. It's so funny. Everyone in chat, please check out Pete's Patreon. Absolutely amazing content that he can't post on YouTube for a low price. Yes, guys, check out my Patreon. I do a lot of good stuff there. I do a monthly Q&A now, too, where you can ask any question, and I'll answer it on video for you, exclusively on Patreon. Jozy, overrated. I agree. Thank you so much for your support. All you guys here who are on Patreon. I really, really appreciate it. Omar Pradhan. Pete, how do you rate Morris as a sole striker in a front three with Pulisic and Reina? So, okay, I've talked about this with Morris before. We have to think of Morris in terms of the kind of player he is instead of a good player or a bad player. Yes, he has strengths and weaknesses. His strengths are that in transition, he's very good. So on the break, when you have space, his athleticism and his speed can kill you. But when you're playing against a team that's sitting in a low block, it's very hard to get around them. It's very hard to get... for Morris, he doesn't have the technique to play in those tight spaces. It's just not, he's a college guy, you know, a typical American athlete, strong, athletic, freakishly good looking. But then when it comes to like technique in tight spaces, Ulianes, De La Fuente, Tim Weah, these guys, those are the guys who can unlock it. So I don't think I would play Morris as a center forward, especially with some of the center forward options we have now. But maybe at the end of a game, if we need a goal and we sure, throw Jordan Morris on. Why not? He just scored. Who just scored? Do Soto or Ledesma have a future with USMNT? From Jorge Mares. Yes, they both do. Absolutely. I believe so. What else? Why do people like Jozy or Zardes? From Tiger Turner. A lot of that is nostalgia, man. A lot of people have really good memories from Jozy, scoring goals. And, you know, nostalgia is a human thing. We all have it, right? It plays on your mind. Like, oh, yeah, I remember when he balled out for us back in, 2016 or whatever. And so it's understandable in some ways, but we need to be more objective. Even though we're fans, we have to try to let go of those. It's hard. You have to let go of those. It's like an ex, really, is what Jozy is, right? An ex that you have a lot of good memories with and a lot of good times, and then you're lonely one night. Josh Sargent isn't scoring for Werder Bremen and you're sad. So you text him, hey, I still miss you. And it's a relationship that's gone bad. So it's not going to serve you anymore. And you have to be a man and you have to suck it up and you have to think objectively and you have to go, this isn't going to work for me anymore. I can't keep going back to that. Okay. I'm not sure if that's a good analogy. I wouldn't put that on Twitter, but I'll say it to you guys. All right. What else do we have? USMNT opinions. Okay. Wait, Karen Johnson. Oh, look, we have another girl. Hey, Karen, what type of club would you see Sam Vines at in his peak? Oh, Karen, that's a good question. I want to see Sam, I don't know if Sam Vines' peak is Champions League level player. I just think technical ability is limited, and he's not the fastest either. But I could see him going to like a Belgium or maybe a lower tier like Holland, maybe not like a top team in Holland, but like a mid-table team in the Eredivisie, maybe Championship in England or Scotland, something like that. I could possibly see that. I'm thinking about making mini docs about the rise of USA players. Any tips / advice about making videos? USMNT opinions. Hit me up on Instagram, and I'll chat with you 1v1 about that, and I'll give you some good tips, okay, bud? Because on the chat, it's hard to explain, but I can give you more attention on Insta or Twitter. And guys, feel free to message me. Twitter, Instagram, or email. Feel free to message with me. I'm on TikTok. Yeah, okay, I'm on TikTok now too. So if any of you guys are on TikTok, I know it's mostly like the under 25s or under 30s. If you're on TikTok, go find 11 Yanks. How do you know Matthew Hoppe is better? I don't know, man. I haven't seen enough of Matthew Hoppe to say he's better than anybody. Vines to PSV, maybe. IN 345. I still don't have my offer for this channel. I'm holding out for 7 figures, man. If you come at me with 7 figures, then we'll talk. What's your Instagram? Instagram is the same, Robbie. 11 Yanks. Are you ever out in the Inland Empire area? Actually, Barbara, yes. Are you in California, Barbara? That's cool. Inland Empire. I do go sometimes, not often, like once or twice a month, maybe. Yeah, guys, my Instagram, my 11 and Twitter and TikTok are all the same, 11 Yanks. Who makes it the furthest in the World Cup in CONCACAF? Alex Torres. Good question. Answer, USA. I think that Mexico chokes at big tournaments. The US rises to the occasion. We've always overachieved at the World Cup. We should never have been a quarterfinal team. We should never have gotten out of the group of death in 2014. We overachieved. That's the US's way. That's the American mentality. Aaron Torres, you've been to Mexico City. I've not, man, but I really want to go. I've been to Guadalajara and I've been to, shoot, I just completely blanked. The one that's right beneath San Diego, Tijuana. I've been to Guadalajara and I've been to Tijuana and I've been to another city just south of Tijuana, but I can't remember the name of it offhand. Do you think we will be good enough to win the World Cup in 2026, Jason? Yes, we will be good enough. That doesn't mean we definitely will, if that makes sense. LAH Sport. Hey, thank you so much for the donation, man. That's really nice of you. Appreciate it very much. Who do you think the best coach in MLS and who do you think is the best coach in MLS and what coaches do you think can coach or have the potential to coach in Europe? That's a really good question. Bob Bradley is a very good coach, but mostly because he's very experienced and has done it all over the world. In terms of up and coming guys, Greg Vanney is somebody who's done very well at Toronto. What I want to see is, does that translate to the Galaxy now? He's moving here to LA. He's going to take a fairly shit show of a club right now and see if he can do the same thing in the Galaxy that he can do with Toronto. His next move should be Europe. Caleb Porter, for example, has now won the MLS Cup twice with two different teams, and they play a beautiful brand of soccer. So Caleb Porter and Greg Vanney. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Oscar Pareja is another one. Watch what he did at Dallas. Watch what he did at well, he did okay in Mexico. He was all right. He wasn't great, but he did very good at Colorado, very good at Dallas, and now really good with Orlando. He has some of the coaches, they just have this ability to inspire players to play above their level. You know, Chris Mueller was a middling winger for 3 seasons in Orlando. And then Oscar Pareja comes in, boom, his level is risen up. Okay, thoughts on Balogun. I haven't seen enough of Balogun, Ben Medina, but I will try to do that. A lot of people have asked me that question. I haven't. I just don't like watching Arsenal, but I will check him out, and I'll give you guys my analysis. Can USA do good in Azteca? If we get the tactics right and we go with the right mentality, the fearlessness, that's like, let's bring that American fearlessness. We're not scared of anybody in the world, right? We're the USA. Let's bring that to the Azteca, you know, throw bags of pee at us, throw coins, boo us, whatever. Like, we're the US. We should carry that swag. And I think we will. Guys like McKennie and Adams and Dest, even Pulisic and Reina, they have that swag to them, you know, that you want from an American national team, right? The way you saw it from Dempsey. Dempsey didn't give a shit. He always had that swag about him. Donovan had it too, but not in an outward way. It was expressed more in his play. But like Dempsey, Jones, you know, Howard, they just walked in there like, we're America, man. And it made you feel proud to be an American. You were like, heck yeah, we are, you know? Ensenada, thank you. TM, that's where it was. Yes, he said Rosarito or Ensenada is probably where you went. Ensenada is a beautiful little town, man. I rented an Airbnb there with my girlfriend. We had a great time. Beautiful. I love Mexico, man. It's a beautiful country and beautiful people. I really do. I mean, I live in Los Angeles. I play with a bunch of Mexicans, like Mexican guys, just for fun on the weekends. And they used to call me Leche. And then when I started, first they called me Flauta because I was really skinny before, but I've been bulking up a little bit, probably eating too many PB&Js. And so now they stopped calling me Flauta and they call me Leche. All right. Pete, you have a girlfriend? Yes, I have a girlfriend. She's a beautiful girl. Her name is Natalie. We met actually doing a show together. So that was really cool. Do you think Berhalter will hold us back from our potential? Good question, John Johnson. This is like my secret fear, that we have this great generation, but that Berhalter might hold them back because he's not up to that level. And I don't know if it's true or if it's just me watching him throughout 2019 and going, what the fuck is he doing? You know what I mean? So I might be wrong, but I'm scared. Like sometimes I lie in there at night and I'm like, is Berhalter going to like screw this up for us? And maybe that's an irrational fear, but I think also we all have a little bit of PTSD from Cuba. Like we didn't really think it was possible to not qualify for the World Cup from CONCACAF. And now we all have a little bit of that like deer in headlights of like, oh shit, is this happening again? Like just you watch, we go away to CONCACAF and Panama scores a goal on us and the PTSD is going to start playing on everyone's mind. Like, oh shit, is this going to happen again? Is Natalie on Homicide Hunter? No, she's not. We didn't meet on that show. We met doing a theater show together. I do a lot of theater in Los Angeles. Well, I did before COVID. Isaiah Paskin, it's a rational fear. I have that same fear every day. Yeah, man, I'm with you. I'm with you. Is there a coach you'd rather have instead of Berhalter? You know, I'm a big fan of Jesse Marsch, but even Jesse Marsch has his weaknesses. He's a very one-dimensional coach. He's going to play his way and he's going to do it only that way, and he will not change it. And that, to me, is not a good sign. But that's a whole nother topic for another time. Sosa, fit. Hey, Pete, with all this new young talent we have, if USMNT somehow fails to qualify for the next World Cup, which do you think would be the biggest factor, players or coaching tactics? Okay, Sosa, we are going to qualify for the next World Cup. I will bet you my car on that. We are going to qualify for the World Cup unless some terrible freak of nature happens and qualifying doesn't exist anymore. We're going to qualify. You would have to be so bad to screw this up, so bad. And it's not going to happen. It's not. Is it possible to get Jesse Marsch? Not right now. I mean, it would be possible, I think, if we offered him the job, but they're not going to fire Berhalter anytime soon. So, yeah. But Akshay Singh is absolutely right. Jesse Marsch said if he got offered the job, he would take it. So, yes. I think he would absolutely take it. I think he wants it. And I think he wants it for 2026. Swift Cross, what car do you have? Burn. I have a Ford C-Max. It's a hybrid vehicle. Let's see. Are you willing to bet all your shares on GME? I have 0 GME shares. Ryan Batesman, I don't like this. What don't you like, man? How well does the USMNT have to do in 2026 in order for you to say that was good enough? My expectations were met. My name is Mike. Hey, Mike. For 2026, semifinals, man. I think that should be the expectation. With this crop of players being in their prime and more talented players going to be coming through between now and then, I think semifinals should be the expectation. Now, that being said, you have a one game in a quarterfinal against Brazil, let's say. And in that game, Neymar dives onto the ground and flops and demands that a priest comes onto the field and administer the last rites. And so the referee gives a penalty and we score a goal. We hit the post 2 times and we end up losing 1-0. That can happen. And that's the problem with World Cups. Sometimes you need a little bit of luck to win. So when I say I think we could be capable of winning the World Cup or capable of getting to a semifinal by 2026, that doesn't mean that's where we're going to get to. So, okay, what else? If Jesse Marsch ever takes a job, the public should be part of the press conference and dog him with questions. I always wish they had like a fan representative at these press conferences, because it's always the same media guys, and it's hard for guys like me to get in and ask some pointed questions, which I want to ask. And I think they know that, right? They know if we let a guy like Pete Douthit in, he's going to ask some tough questions that maybe they don't want to answer. Or maybe not. To be fair, I have never applied for a press pass at US Soccer, but from what I've heard, there's like an inside group. And if you're not part of that group, and if you don't ask like softball questions, then, then you don't get invited. So, or maybe not. Maybe if my channel gets really big, they'll want me in there. I don't know, guys. We'll see how this goes. Does Yedlin have a future with USMNT? Dest seems to be improving quickly and is much more effective on the right side where Yedlin would be. Yeah, I think Yedlin is at best right now, I think Yedlin is 3rd. So he might still have a future. Let's see what happens with Cannon. Let's see what happens with Reynolds. And let's see what happens with Araujo. But right now, his spot is dropping. LAH Sport. Soto is a natural goal scorer, so that's why I rate him higher than Zardes. I'm actually with you on that, man. And it's not based on his goal scoring in the Dutch 2nd division. It's based on everything I've seen from him. Everybody on the Pete for Press train. Ben Reader, you guys are awesome, man. This is so fun. I wish it wasn't so hard to talk straight for an hour. Give me a second to like recover my throat. I'm losing my voice. Joshua Simmons. Man, I'm starting to lose my voice here. I'm going to maybe do another 5 minutes, guys, and then log off because my voice is literally going. So, Aaron Torres, is it wrong for a Mexican to support USMNT? Hell no, man. Look, the U.S. is just, we're a nation of immigrants, dude. Wherever you're from, come support us. Like, we're going to have Mexican, like, kids of Mexican descent, American kids of Mexican descent playing on the national team. Of course, you should come and support us, you know? Absolutely. Uli Yanez, Richie Ledesma, Sebastian Soto, you know, Julian Araujo, so many. Daniel Leone, Antonio Leone, who plays for LAFC. We're going to have so many. Joshua Simmons, F in the chat, folks, to confuse Pete. Well, it's not to confuse me now because I know what it is. But he's last live stream I did, there was some guy asking the same dumb question 100 times. So I kicked him out of the chat and everybody typed F in. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Let's see. Okay, Jason Caceres, let's say USA or Mexico doesn't win the Gold Cup. Who do you think would win it if it weren't them? Jamaica? I think Jamaica, by the way, don't sleep on Jamaica, guys. They have a lot of they're naturalizing a lot of really good players, and I think they're going to be really good. So don't sleep on Jamaica. All right, guys. You guys are awesome. Big fact, my parents come from Mexico, and I'm a huge USMNT fan over Mexico. Love trolling my family. Andy Garcia, hit me up. In fact, anybody who's like a Mexican of Mexican descent or Hispanic descent and your parents support Mexico and you support the US, hit me up on Twitter or Instagram and just, I want to hear your story. By the way, okay, I'm going to announce this now. I'm doing a new thing once a week on Twitter called Fan of the Week, USMNT Fan of the Week. And what I'm going to do is, I love hearing stories of how people became USMNT fans. So if you guys want, any of you want to be on that, every week I'm just going to highlight a new fan, their name, a little bit about them, how they became a USMNT fan, and then maybe a picture of them. If any of you want to be on that, hit me up on Twitter. Either private message me on Twitter or on Instagram or even TikTok, if you can message on TikTok. Can you? I just got on TikTok, so don't expect me to know a whole lot about it, okay? I'm not 23 here, 33. And they really don't care. They don't care. There you go. That makes it easy then. I wish. Going to my girlfriend's house to watch games is terrible. I'm the only USMNT fan. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, that's the tough part about being a USMNT fan in the US. A lot of times our friends or family aren't soccer people. So we don't really have anybody to talk about it with. And that's why communities like this are important, because we need each other. We need to be able to, you know, we need to be able to hang out and talk and chat and express ourselves. And okay, Pete, do you ever check in on the other USMNT YouTubers? Do you have a hot take on this guy, Brian Cliven, over at 343? He's always trashing Robinson, even when he owns against top teams, example, Liverpool. So to answer your first question, Omar, I'm actually doing a collaboration now with Filippo from Tactical Manager. And I really respect him and I respect what he says. And he's a coach. And I'm telling you guys right now, I don't respect all the USMNT YouTubers. There are some guys who are just fans, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But they're just speaking as a fan. And so sometimes it's hard for me as a coach to take their opinion too seriously. As far as Brian Cliven goes, he is a coach, right? Probably a better coach than me. He coached Uli Yanez and Alex Mendez and, Kobe Hernandez Foster and a bunch of young guys from the Galaxy, Araujo. The problem with the Clivens, and this is why he was fired from the LA Galaxy, is that his brother, Gary, who's way more toxic than Brian, his brother, Gary, runs this agency that was stealing these kids from the Galaxy Academy and sending them to Europe. And that's a major conflict of interest. And I don't mind Brian. I don't agree with Brian about everything, but I value his opinion as a coach, as somebody who has developed players, who has gotten his coaching badges. I value his opinion. And we disagree on Robinson, and that's fine. Even coaches agree. I'm sure Klopp and Guardiola disagree on things. There's no right or wrong, right? So it's just different opinions. Gary Cliven, his brother, and you guys from 343 on Twitter, you'll know this, always trashing everything about American soccer. Everybody is wrong except him, and 343 is the truth. Only us. Everybody else is wrong. So him and John Pranjic, that Croatian guy, they do that all the time, and I can't respect that, okay? If you can't be objective that there are, sure, American soccer has our problems. We're also doing a lot of really good things. So it's okay to acknowledge the problems and also be excited about the good things that are happening, okay? So that's my take on the 343 guys. I like Brian. The other guys are a little bit too toxic for me. Joseph Stalin, thoughts on capitalism? What the fuck? Isaiah Probos, let's see. AMB, I feel you, man. Nobody in my family likes soccer either. I'm the only one. So I 100% get that. I really do. Even my girlfriend, who's German, you would think, my girlfriend is German. You would think she likes soccer. She does. She doesn't give a shit. So we always have, I try to like, hey, come watch this game with me. She's like, she'll watch like the World Cup and stuff, but she won't, other than that, she won't care. All right, let's see. Do you think Qatar will make at least semis in the Gold Cup? Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one, man. It's going to be weird having Qatar in the semis. And the thing is, both Mexico and the US are going to send very weakened teams to the Gold Cup, so I'm not sure. John Johnson, you still high on DK? I want to see more of DK. The problem with DK is that technically he still has a lot of work to do. But he's a certain type of player. He's gonna be like Jozy, I think. Limited technically, but a real strong athlete. It's hard to base Jozy on today. Okay, because I'm Jozy. I'm sorry, DK. It's hard to judge DK on today because when he came on, the spaces were a lot tighter. They had all dropped back into this low block, and he didn't have the same space that Jesus Ferreira did. So it's unfair to compare them on this performance. That being said, could he have been better? Yes. Yes, he could have. All right. What else we got here? Brian, wait. No, he didn't. Joshua Simmons didn't leave. He's right here. The referees are going to rig it for Qatar. Alex, how are you, man? Good to see Alex here. Alex and I are in a Twitter group together. Alex Calabrese. Alex, by the way, go follow Alex on Twitter, guys. Alex, put your Twitter handle in the chat. He's a great follow, and he has a lot of good shit to say, and he's entertaining too. So, Alex, put your Twitter handle in the chat. AMB, why are Qatar even here, though? Look, Qatar doesn't have any competitive games because they're hosting the World Cup. So they're going to Copa America and they're going to Gold Cup. And to be honest, I don't mind it. We need better teams competing in Gold Cup. So if we can get a visitor who's, better than Panama, more competition, more meaningful games, more games against different kinds of players. The Middle East is up and coming, man. They're very passionate about soccer in the Middle East, and they're very good. They're strong athletes. You need to develop technically, but they're good. And by the way, in the 2026 cycle, when we don't have qualifying to go through, I think the US and Mexico and probably even Canada should go to play Copa America. Please, let's go play Copa America. We need to, we can't have 4 years of just Nations League and Gold Cup being our only competitive games. And friendlies don't count, man. You can't do anything in friendlies. It's not the same. We need to go play Copa America. Go play in the Asian Confederation Cup, the Asian Cup. I'm fine with that. There are some good teams. Japan, South Korea, Australia plays in the Asian Confederation. Absolutely. Let's go play in the Asian Cup and the CONMEBOL Cup. Okay? Copa America, sorry. But I don't know if we're going to be able to. I hope so. I really, really do. All right, guys, 5 more minutes and I'm going to jump off because I'm losing my voice here. How do you feel about the MLS on the brink of heading into a lockout? Andy Garcia, it's not good. If they lock out, they're going to undo a lot of the good work they've done over the past few years and all the growth that the league has seen. Personally, though, I don't think they're going to lock out. I think they'll come. I think both the owners and the players know that we're at a tipping point in American soccer, and now would be the worst time to lock out. So I don't think they will. Players who you miss still playing for the USMNT. Dempsey, man. I miss that guy's swag. Nobody had swag like Clint Dempsey. And even though he would go missing in some games and he seemed like he was kind of sulking, he had so much swag and just the attitude. He was like that don't tread on me mentality, He had that Texas Nagadoches, country boy, like, and I missed that. We need that. Mr. Tweedy, do we have any good number 9s in the pipeline? I just don't think Sargent is dynamic enough. We have a lot of good number 9s in the pipeline. I'm going to do a video on this soon called America's Next Top Striker. And it's going to be basically breaking down all of our striking options one by one, the kind of player they are, the strengths, their weaknesses, what's their ceiling, what's their floor, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, guys, have you ever checked out Dempsey's rap song? It's good. It's pretty good. Wes has that swag. Tiger Turner, absolutely. Wes has more swag than I think the rest of the team put together. I love Wes. He's going to bring that. Tyler Adams has that swag, but more in a calm leader kind of way. I think Tyler Adams is the captain of this team, and Wes is like the guy who hosts the parties and like chooses the music on the bus and like gets everybody amped up before the game. And then like Adams is the guy who like keeps a cool head and like demands excellence from everybody else on the team. John Johnson, you said that you think Weah is in the starting 11. Well, I would start Weah on the right wing. Okay, that's where I would start him. So whoever you would have on the right wing, I would put Weah there. Let's see. Do you think Gio Reyna can be as good as his father, or do you think he already is? He's already better than his dad. He's already playing at a level his dad was never at. Claudio Reyna was a good player, but he was not elite. Gio Reyna is an elite 18-year-old player already. Yeah, guys, don't sleep on Sargent. I know a lot of you do. I'm very high on Sargent. I know he has weaknesses. I do, but I don't think playing for 2 years in Bremen has helped him. And he does a lot of good work there. And I think we just need to see Sargent go to another team and get his confidence back and just learn a few more things about his game. And not mentally, Sargent sometimes over rushes things, but he works so hard and he holds up the ball so well. And you see these moments of magic from him, just real brilliance that you're like, this guy has elite potential. We just need to stop ragging on him because he's not scoring a ton of goals. Okay? Give him time to develop. He will improve. States FC, if I had confidence in one of our guys getting around Davies in a World Cup qualifier, it would be Weah. I mean, yeah, I agree. Dest already did it too. Wood is done. Ex-girlfriend. Yep. Use the ex-girlfriend analogy whenever you're not being honest with yourself about a player who's in decline. Okay? Just think about that. John Brooks and Josh Sargent had the same amount of Bundesliga goals. I've said my piece on Sargent. I'm not going to keep arguing this one. What do I think about Nyman? High ceiling, high potential kid. DC is not good at developing players. Okay? They haven't really developed anybody yet. So I'm curious to see how they develop him. Jacob Lehman, do you think that potentially Sargent would be better with a strike partner up top? Maybe. The problem is if you do that, you sacrifice somewhere else on the field. So the question is, where are you going to sacrifice? Do you play a 3-5-2? Okay. And then you sacrifice the fullback positions? Or do you play a 4-4-2? So now you sacrifice the center of midfield, which can be very dangerous, and I don't think you want to do. So you could, potentially, but everything in soccer is risk-reward, right? You're going to maybe reward your attack by giving Sargent a good striker to play off of, but then what are you risking in return, right? So there's different options. What are your thoughts of a back three for the U.S.? I actually like a back three. I think what you do is you play, this is just spitballing on the top of my head, you play Mark McKenzie, John Brooks, and Chris Richards in a back three, with Brooks in the middle, Richards on the right, and McKenzie on the left. And then you play Dest and Robinson as like wing backs. You play McKennie, Adams, and Reyna in the midfield. And then you play Sargent up top with Pulisic as a second forward. But Pulisic has the license to roam. So he can go either wing. He can come deep if he wants. He can support Sargent. They can interchange. When Sargent comes deep to hold up the ball, Pulisic can run in behind. That's one thing I would like to see tried. I don't know if it will work. Like, I don't know if Berhalter will try it, though. I think he's very committed to this 4-3-3. But maybe in the future. Okay. Julian Araujo, Manuel Esquivel. What about Julian Araujo? Alan Senora, I have never seen him play, so I don't want to comment on him. Trent, how many friendlies do you see the USMNT playing before Gold Cup starts? Probably at least 1 or 2 in July. Can the U.S. team beat Costa Rica for the first time in Costa Rica in World Cup qualifying? Yes, the first team absolutely can. Costa Rica is really weak now. They're Costa Rica. If I had to put money on it, I don't think Costa Rica qualifies for this World Cup. They're just Manuel Esquivel. Thank you so much, sir. Very kind of you for your donation. I appreciate it. So on Costa Rica, guys, all of their good players above 30 now. They're in their mid-30s, early to mid-30s, and that's going to affect them in the World Cup. Now, Costa Rica has based their success on a very strong defensive game. They play a 5-4-1, and they just sit back and they hit you on the counterattack. But that's going to be harder and harder to do because they're aging. When you don't have the ball, you're constantly moving. And for older players, that's harder. You get tired quicker. You don't recover as easily. And there's no young players coming through for Costa Rica, no good ones. Meanwhile, Jamaica and Canada are starting to produce. So I don't think Costa Rica qualifies for this World Cup. I think the top 3 are Mexico, the U.S., and maybe Jamaica, and then maybe Canada or one of the other teams fighting out for that 4th spot. Okay. What are your thoughts on Cade Cowell? Ryan, I think Cade Cowell has a lot of talent. I know a lot about Cade Cowell. From some of the contacts that I've spoken to, he had offers on the table before he came back to MLS. He had offers on the table from Barcelona, I believe from Bayern Munich, and 1 or 2 other Champions League clubs. They're very, very high on him. I'm glad he's going to Leipzig after this year in the New York Red Bulls. But the kid has very elite potential. He just needs a chance to show it. Miguel Jaime, do you think Mexico and their media are getting nervous of our upcoming generation? Yes, they are. They're talking about it in Mexico. They're like, what is going on over there? And some of them are dismissing us. They're like, overhyped, as they do. I listened to the Mexican soccer show. Does anybody listen to that as a podcast? It's quite an interesting podcast. And I listen to it because I like to keep track of the opposition and keep track of their young players and who's coming through. And they did a whole podcast on this topic of the U.S. players all going to Europe, players coming through. And one of the guys said, yeah, but just because they're all in Europe doesn't mean they're going to be good. And I'm like, wait a minute. So these guys are balling out already for Juventus, for Chelsea, for Dortmund, for Leipzig, for Barcelona. And he was like, yeah, but that doesn't mean they're going to be good. Does it, though? So some of them are dismissing us. And that's fine. Dismiss us all you want. We'll come show you in Azteca. If Berhalter. So here's the thing about Mexico. Tata Martino knows how to set them up for success. And that is where I think he is going to cover for a lot of their weaknesses as they age. But I haven't seen Berhalter beat Tata Martino yet. And that makes me nervous because even when he was at Columbus, he couldn't beat Atlanta. He won 1 time on penalties. So he drew and then won on penalties. And the rest of the time, he lost to Tata. So, and then for the U.S. now, twice, he's lost to Tata. And Tata knows how to adapt. Berhalter does something. Tata moves a few pieces around tactically, and he adapts to it. So I am nervous about that. I think Tata is the X factor for Mexico. Yeah, I was listening that on La Última Palabra. Yes. All right. Guys, I'm going to sign off in just a second here. This is so fun. I want to keep going, but my voice is like... McKennie has been better this season, NGN. Hey, Carter. Welcome back, buddy. Adios, amigo. Do these more often. Thanks, Robert. Swift Cross, Robbie Wilson. Ken the King arrives. Hey, Ken, how are you? Isaiah Paskins, you had more people than tactical. Man, it's not a competition. Isaiah's constantly trying to get competition going. You're a competitive guy, huh? It's not a competition, man. I want tactical to be successful too. Filippo's a great guy and he does great stuff. Like I said, guys, go subscribe to him. TUDN. Okay. Anybody who speaks Spanish in this chat, TUDN is pronounced TUDN. Tu DNA, is that correct? I want to make sure I get that right. So tell me if that is correct. Somebody who speaks Spanish. Mikey Gurgley, you're awesome. Thanks, man. You're awesome for being here and for participating in this community. I love it. I love it. They should make everyone qualify. No free spots. Dominican stud, I kind of agree, to be honest. When it comes to 2026, make us all look, the US and Mexico are going to qualify. Well, although Mexico, I don't know. Mexico is an aging generation that's going to be fine for 2022, but I'm curious to see if they're going to replace it for 2026. If they get a free spot, then yeah, they'll be fine. But maybe not if they have to qualify. Okay, so my pronunciation needs to be corrected here. Alex Torres says you forgot the U. Tu DN. Thank you. Ken the King arrives. That's perfect. Tu DN? Tu DN? Is that correct? My Spanish is terrible. I can say hola, ¿cómo estás? I can say ¿por qué terminaste conmigo? That's about the extent of my Spanish. Mexico is no replacement for their stars. The replacements that they have coming through are not as good as the guys they've had in the past. So their goalkeeper, Ochoa, is retiring. He's 36 already. Okay? No real replacement for him. That's near that quality. Guardado, 34, 35. No real good replacement. Charlie Rodriguez still playing in Monterrey, not the same level. Hector Herrera's already 30. Chicharito's already past it. The Dos Santos boys are kind of past it. Jonathan, not as much. If Raul Jimenez doesn't come back, they don't have a good forward. They're going to be relying heavily on Tecatito and Chucky Lozano. Barbara Spridgen, good night. Thank you for being here. Dominican stud, you also say Araujo incorrectly all the time. LOL. Is it Araujo? Araujo? I don't know. You tell me how to say it correctly. I want to learn. Pete for TUDN. Can you imagine me on TUDN trying to defend the USMNT to the Mexican reporters? They would eat me for lunch. Macias too. Night, Barbara. Thoughts on Hoppy? I think he could be a bust. Hard to say, Eamon. I have to see more of him over time. So when we look at players, a lot of people want to just look at the recent history. We have to see how they are over a span of time. You evaluate a player over the course of their career. You just pick out a moment in time that can seem like a world beater or they can seem terrible. So more time is needed. See, you did okay with TUDN. TUDN. Okay. Herc gets hammered on ESPN for defending the USMNT, the States FC. Yeah, he does. Because he's Hispanic, right? He's of Mexican origin, but he played for the US, right? And now he's defending the US. I think for them, they see that as the ultimate betrayal, Jason Caceres, yes. I think so. Jeffrey Hernandez. Okay, Dominican stud. I know your name now. Jeffrey Hernandez from NYCFC. Cool. All right, guys, this has been really fun. Thanks for coming to hang out. I know the game wasn't the best game. There's nothing much we're going to be able to take from that. There's a few tactical things that I'm going to put on a video tomorrow, some basic stuff, and I'm going to talk about the game. I'm going to talk about a few other things. But I also, guys, March. Let's wait for March. When March comes, we're going to have the European guys back. We're going to have Olympic qualifying. That's going to be really fun. So it's going to be great. Hang on to your hats. It's going to be, guys, 2021 is going to be so freaking fun. I feel like we're going to be doing one of these every other week almost because there's going to be so many games. There's like 30 games or something this year. So it's going to be really fun. We're going to have a blast. World Cup qualifying, Nations League, Gold Cup, Olympics, Olympic qualifiers, friendlies. The channel is going to keep growing. Share it with your friends, guys, the channel. It helps other people to find us. And look, the more the channel grows, the more content I can put out. That's the truth, okay? I want to put out more content, but I also have a job, right? I have to go work, make money. So if you guys want more content, we got to get the channel to grow. Join me on Patreon if you want extra cool content. But yeah, and if you can't, I totally get it. But just come hang out, watch the videos, have a good time. 2021 is going to be an awesome year. The US is coming, and this is just the beginning, guys. This isn't a golden generation. This is a change in the way that the world is going to see American soccer because we're going to keep churning out these players. We have the pipelines now. We're going to keep churning them out, and we're going to get better and better and better. And we're going to be competing in 2026. And after that, we're going to be competing on a high level, okay? There's going to be huge respect for American soccer, and it's going to be an awesome time to be an American fan. And all the Americans who didn't like soccer before, when they see the U.S. balling out at a World Cup, that we're going to convert them to become soccer fans. And America is going to become a legitimate soccer nation by 2026. I believe it, guys. We have a chance here at home with our generation in their prime, with Jesse Marsch as the coach, to make such a deep run, to turn America into a soccer nation. That is the dream, guys. That'd be awesome. Let's do it. All right, guys. This is awesome. Have a great night. I'll do more videos soon. And yeah, video out tomorrow. Check that one out about the game. I'll talk more about tactics and stuff. Awesome to see you guys. Have a fantastic one. I will see you soon.